Such an incredible time of the year as we approach the beautiful, beautiful Chag of Pesach. And I think there's so many wonderful, wonderful lessons to draw out from the festival of Pesach that we can share for ourselves, that we can share with our friends, and we can share with our children, our parents. An incredible time of connection awaits us. The central mitzvah of Pesach is the mitzvah of the Haggadah. And it's been so beautiful to see all the different activities going on around the school, seeing how the children have invested so much hard work and dedication and effort into creating their Haggadot and into building that experience for themselves. And they are certainly ready to go after creating their beautiful Haggadot, after having their model Pesach Seders. Really, it's we can't wait to have our children around the Pesach Seders with everything that they've learned. I want to share with you one idea around the Pesach Seder. And I think it's an idea that's so pertinent to the world that we live in. And maybe this lesson of the Pesach Seder has never been more important than the generation that we're living in. And as we know, that we learn from the sages that every single person is obligated to see himself as if he went out of Egypt. And really that is about understanding what is the Egypt that we have to go out in our generation. When it comes to the Pesach Seder, it really revolves around the central mitzvah of the Haggadah of Yetziat Mitzrayim, emanating from the pasuk in Shmot, where it says, "V'yigadat levincha b'yom ahu," where you have to tell your son that on that day you went out from Egypt. And that is the central focus of the Seder night. Another pasuk we see later in Dvarim, where it says, "Ki yishalcha bimcha machar lemor," surely when your son comes to ask you in the future, saying, why do we keep all these mitzvot? And you should answer him, because we were slaves unto Egypt and Hashem took us out of Egypt. What is the essence of these mitzvot of the night, of the central mitzvah of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim? And I think what these mitzvot teach us, they teach us how to communicate. And they tell us when we connect and when we interact with people, what should the content of that connection be? Never before has humanity been more connected. Never before have we been more in touch with everybody. But has that brought us closer? Has this made us actually connected in a true and real way? We can get hold of each other much easier, but are we in touch with one another in a very true, deep and sincere way, as we would imagine all this technology would have facilitated? And I think you know the answer, as do I, that so much of the time the social media, the different media that we use for communication often distance us and bring us closer. And I think that's what lesson that we can take out from Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's a mitzvah to communicate with your children. That's the mitzvah of the Seder night. On that night, you have a mitzvah to reach out to your child and to inspire him in terms of the Jewish identity, understanding where he came from, and understanding the dreams that we have for our children going forward, in a way that inspires them to then inspire their children and the next generation onwards and onwards, so that we can build Jewish continuity in a very deep and profound and genuine way, that we can go on our path doing Tikkun Olam in the most sincere of ways. And what is the other side that we spoke about? The pasuk in Dvarim says, how should we structure that interaction? Through encouraging questions. The pasuk in Dvarim says, Ki yishalcha bimcha machar lemor. When your son comes to you at a later stage and asks you about these mitzvot. So what do we learn from there? That we have to structure the whole Seder night around questions, because the best way to educate is to arouse a question within your children, to show them perhaps a void that they might have within themselves, that then they reach out with a thirst for the information, not just pouring information into them, but rather creating a thirst within them for that information. And that's something that that we see part of our education here at Yeshiva College, and we see it as an incredible opportunity, that this time of the year, the time of connection, where the Torah teaches us that when you connect, make it meaningful, make it full of content, make it about inspiring the next generation. And perhaps that's the message that we in our generation can take out from the Seder night. It's the mitzvah of how to imbue our connection with deep content and deep communication. And we've got WhatsApp, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. How can we use those incredible platforms to inspire the next generation, to connect, to bring goodness to the world, and to do our mission of Tikkun Olam that started way back when we were freed from Mitzrayim by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, when he came out as intervening in the course of history to take us out of the place that we were in, to show the world that might is not right, but that rather morals and ethics are what we stand for. And that's why we were freed. We were freed from an unjust society to create a just society, and to always remember those messages of oppressions that we can keep on fighting in the world that we live in, to bring a better face to the world that we live in, and to inspire goodness, connection, tikkun olam, and really moving the whole of humanity, being an Or LaGoyim, moving the whole of humanity forward. I wish you a Chag Sameach, and may this truly be a time of deep and sincere and profound connection between you and your children, between your children and you, between you and your family, and between you and your friends. Chag Sameach.